Welcome to the podcast, the Like Father, Like Son podcast. We're just a father and a son who enjoy sports, and we're here to talk a little bit about it. And the biggest event right now going on is the NBA Finals, and we are located in Indiana, the heart of basketball. So that's the big topic today, tonight as we speak. And game one, first thoughts. What do you think?
It was crazy.
It was a wild ending. Pacers only leading for 0.3 seconds the entire game.
0.3 seconds, yeah.
They never led until the very end. Last second shot. It's kind of wild.
Halliburton also has 4 game-tying or game-winning shots.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that later and how they got there. So, game one, you didn't really watch a whole lot of it.
No.
You were busy playing basketball yourself. So you don't really have a whole lot to say about it. But Pacers just hung around. I thought Oklahoma City missed a lot of open shots, missed a lot of opportunities to really put the game away, and that kind of kept the Pacers in it, even though they had 20 turnovers in the first half, which is kind of wild to think about that they're came all the way back in the second half to win that one. Thought they did a pretty good job on SGA as best as they could, trying to hold him down. They rotated a few guys on him, and between him and Williams and rotating those guys around, they kind of held those two pretty well in check. Williams, but SGA got his. And some of their other key players, but Oklahoma City did not capitalize on the opportunities that they had to really put some runs together and extend some leads, and the Pacers just kind of hung around. So, and did what they always do and what we've seen so far this playoffs. Anything else from your perspective on game one?
No, it's crazy.
It is pretty wild. It's exciting here. The Pacers haven't been in the playoffs for quite some time. I think Reggie was the last one to do it. And ironically enough, Rick Carlisle was on that team
Really?
as an assistant coach when they made their run last time and lost to Kobe and Shaq and the Lakers. Yep, so it's kind of full circle for him. And I guess another interesting tidbit about last night's game, it's the Pacers tied 3 other teams in playoff history, in finals history, to come back from 15 points is the largest. But they were amongst 2 other teams that did that, and one was the 92 Bulls, and the other one was the 2011 Mavs, who the coach was Rick Carlisle. So just interesting pieces of how that connects. Game 2 predictions. What are your game 2 predictions? At Oklahoma City.
I think the Thunder are going to come out swinging. I think they're going to learn from their mistakes in the first game. Well, there are few mistakes in the last few minutes that they made. I think it's going to be a total blowout. 25-point win is my prediction. Like 128, 103 or something like that. I think their defense, I think it's going to get a lot of turnovers again. Maybe not quite as much, but I think Thunder are going to learn their lesson. Any thoughts?
My thoughts on game 2, probably going to be closer than what people realize. I think the Pacers are going to clean it up a little bit from taking care of the ball and making sure they're valuing possessions a little bit better. But I do think Thunder will probably take game 2. So be closer than what people think, but I believe they'll pull it off, and then they'll head back to Indy for the next 2 games. So how did we get here? Pacers, what a run. They have seemingly repeatedly, as we talked about earlier, hit some game winners down the stretch, and have shocked some people on their home floor. Started with the Bucks, then the Cavs, then the Knicks, and there were multiple games with the Knicks where they come out and had some come from behind wins, which has kind of been their MO. And really, those guys have shot the ball well. I mean, they've been one of the best offensive teams in the playoffs so far from that standpoint, and have put some crazy numbers up from that perspective. And when they've needed stops, they've had guys they've just got some guys that we call dogs in the basketball world, where they're just out working their tail off. They're making the stops. They got to make the stops, and they're just hard-nosed guys working hard, getting after it, and they're really built to go after some of these situations that we've seen, and they have just continued to make those comebacks and shock people, really. I mean, they did it in the last series with the Knicks, really shocked them and took 2 games early, and that really kind of sealed the deal. So, Thunder run. Who have the Thunder had to go through to get here?
I kind of want to start with how that team was built first.
Mm-hmm.
So the Thunder, as a lot of you may know, Paul George was traded for SGA in 2018.
Who also has ties to the Pacers.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that I saw a post the other day. Someone was calling it the Paul George Finals.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Sam Presti has done an amazing job building the team. That was an amazing trade. Basically, all from that trade. He traded Paul George for SGA and Danilo Gallinari, and I think it was a crazy number, like 31 picks or something like that. And I think every single one of those picks has become a player on the team now, which is crazy. Chet Holmgren came out of that. Jalen Williams came out of that. I even think Lou Dort came out of that, if I'm correct. Alex Caruso technically came out of that. They traded Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. And I think Mark Dagnall has done a great job too as the head coach. He's developed these young guys into defensive studs, which is looking like the future of the NBA now. Because no offense can get through this defense. I mean, except for the Pacers, yeah. You saw the Denver Nuggets in round 2. Nikola Jokic was getting stopped by them, and you don't see that very often. You don't see one of the best offensive big men in the NBA get stopped like that very often. Round 1, you have the Memphis Grizzlies, although I don't really count them. They're not really the greatest. No offense to Grizzlies fans. Western Conference Finals, you have the Timberwolves, who were on a roll. They killed the Lakers. They killed the Warriors. Teams that everybody thought was going to go to the finals. And then they got to them, and the defense got to them. Timberwolves, I think, only averaged 90 points a game in the Western Conference Finals,
That's pretty low for them.
It was one of the lowest lowest in the postseason, if I'm correct. But it's just crazy. The Thunder have gotten through this through defense, and I think it's been solely through defense. I mean, even the other night, you saw that their offense wasn't the greatest. They couldn't hit shots when they needed to.
We'll say SGA got his. When he was attacking the rim, playing downhill, he was very effective, and very rarely did. I mean, they got the stop. Pacers got the couple stops they needed to late. But for the most part, whenever he wanted to get there, he got there. So they're going to have some challenges trying to get through him continually. But to your point, they did force 20 turnovers on the Pacers early. That's first half. So, but they cleaned it up in the second half, and they took care of the ball and did what they had to do to get, cut the game down, and hit some timely shots. Again, Neesmith coming up with a big shot. Nembhard hitting a couple big step back shots, and a really probably a play that goes unnoticed is Nembhard didn't get anything. It was an air ball, but Siakam was right there for a rebound and put it back in, and that was a huge possession because that just kept that run going. And Oklahoma just could not hit a shot down the stretch, and the Pacers sat down, guarded, and made life difficult on those guys and got the possessions they needed. And in the end, really came out on top. I mean, the shot, just that last possession, that last shot by Halliburton, there was some miscommunication on the defensive end. For being a team that's touted as being really good defensively, they had some major struggles there. Not to mention that Caruso was coming up, and I can't remember the other guy off the top of my head, but they both met and then they both fell away and really gave Halliburton a clean look at the rim. And on the backside of that play, Siakam was right there as well at the rim, ready to, if the pass came, to put that in as well. So that couple possessions late, they just did not step up when they needed to for what they've been known for. And the rest is history. So we're on to game 2 tomorrow night.
Well, I didn't want to add one more thing. Halliburton has hit, I think I already said it, but Halliburton has hit in this playoffs 4 game-tying or game-winning shots.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 2 other players ever to do that. LeBron James, and I think it was Michael Jordan.
I don't know about the second one. I know LeBron's one of them, but I don't know the second one. But it's been, as far as what they've been able to do, it's been kind of unprecedented. And how many more times can they do that? So that's one of those things that the Pacers, if they need to take care of business, they need to value some possessions and take care of the ball and really put some possessions together instead of having these constant coming back from behind.
That's why they're underdogs.
Yeah, and they're not really getting a lot of attention, but my goodness, they are now. So they got my attention when, in the first round against the Bucks, and then the Cavs, and then they did it again with the Knicks. So, they're just a gritty team. But it's interesting, the Thunder gets a lot of recognition for their defense, but honestly, when the Pacers need to defend, they defend really, really well. And they've got some, like I said earlier, they've got some guys that just sit down and guard and really can get the stops that they need to make. So, anything else on the Thunder run? We really said a whole lot about them, what they went through. Memphis first.
Yeah, they kind of killed Memphis. I don't like to count them because that was kind of.
Well, they're counted. They played them, but who did they beat the second time?
They beat the Nuggets.
Nuggets the second
that
round.
Was impressive.
And third round was Minnesota Timberwolves. So now on to the Pacers. Draft's coming up in a few weeks. We're going to get your takes on that. You're really the expert on that, so to speak, but you've looked into that more than I have. So what are your thoughts on the upcoming draft in the next few weeks? I know we're right in the middle of the playoffs, so to speak, your finals run here, but that has some key people in it that are big names that are going to be coming up, and what's it look like for the rest of the league in regards to who they need and who they're going to be going after.
So there's been a lot of speculation on whether the Mavs are going to trade that number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg, which I think we all know it's going to be Cooper Flagg at this point. Should be, yeah. Unless Nico makes another bad decision.
You never know.
But I don't think they'll trade it. I mean, Nico has said he's not going to trade it, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Anything could happen. But, I mean, the likelihood of them trading a possibly generational talent for Giannis, he's in his prime, but he's in his late prime. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it. But, with their timeline, wanted to get Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Defense wins championships. But I think as a GM, you don't want to make the wrong decision here. Because if you make the wrong decision, if Giannis doesn't pan out, if Giannis gets injured, it's your future is screwed.
Can be, yeah. You never know. It's a gamble. It can be a gamble, but I don't know. I guess that's what you need if they feel like they need. I mean, do they need a big? That's the question. A guy's going to go out and score. I think everybody's looking for Davis. So
they already have Anthony Davis. So, but Giannis is definitely going to be a big talk in this draft. As teams like the Rockets, the Spurs, I just mentioned the Mavs, although I doubt they'll go for him, but they'll probably be aggressively pursuing him during the draft. Shams the other day reported, he said that the Spurs are looking for another star, looking to trade their 2nd and 14th picks, plus role players for another star. Whether that's Giannis or Jaylen Brown. Celtics, I've also heard, are going to make a big leap this upcoming draft. They've been looking to get a bunch of salary dump because they do not want to be in that second apron anymore.
Yeah, Pacers are kind of creeping up on that luxury tax as well. So, that's another one that...
Especially after this run.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to pay it, I guess, but and see how long they can keep these guys around and keep them together. That's the bigger question. They're not done yet. Obviously we're just through game 1 of the finals, but some implications there for them as well. So, what else? Draft.
The Rockets are also looking to trade the 10th pick. I've heard from Shams and other reports. Whether that's a Giannis, whether that's a Jaylen Brown, whether that's Lauri Markkanen is another name that's been floating around. The Sixers are also looking to trade the 3rd pick and Paul George for another star.
Maybe he can affect the finals for next year.
Yeah.
Another team. You never know.
I've also heard that Kevin Durant, Sixers are looking at Kevin Durant. Whether that's I don't think that's gonna happen because of how expensive he is and how old he is. He doesn't really fit their timeline. My personal opinion is that the Sixers should just keep the pick, but who knows? Also did want to bring up Wemby's growth spurt. So I'm not going to say much about it, but if you've seen recent photos of Wemby, he looks like he's a lot taller than what they're saying. Saying he's 7'3", and there was a recent photo where all Spurs rookies of the year took a photo together, and Duncan Robinson is, I think he's 6'11", 7 foot, somewhere around there, and it looks like Wemby's like 7'6" in that photo. Well, I say this because this could affect the Spurs pick in this draft. Because we've seen other guys like Yao Ming and Taco Fall didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid's had injuries. Even Wemby himself has had a couple in both seasons so far. He's had season-ending injuries. And so it could affect their timeline, whether they want to go get Giannis or Jaylen Brown to try and win championships now, with the big three of Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, and another star. Or if they could also go young, get a Dylan Harper, maybe come on, Mal Watch. He's been big in this draft. Big. This sounds weird. Big man.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? I mean, we're gonna have. There's plenty of time left. We're gonna have a lot of discussion, obviously, on the draft and episodes to come. But one last thing, one last tidbit on the draft, or is that it?
I think that's it for now. Be looking in the upcoming video for.
Yeah, more to come on the draft for sure. More to come on game 2. I think we're going to probably try to do something after every game potentially and put something together. Maybe after the 3rd game, I'm not sure yet. But be on the lookout. Appreciate everybody tuning in and watching. What else?
If you enjoyed this video, if you're enjoying the podcast, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notifications every time we upload. But that's all for now. Try and catch us next time.
Yep. See you next time.